Welcome. So this will be a practice specifically maybe for the holiday season. So a lot of times during the holiday, particularly as we move towards Thanksgiving, you'll see a lot of yoga practices geared towards gratitude. So I've been reflecting on that and also what this holiday season might mean for me, my family, and even the world. And two words keep coming up for me, so I thought that we'd guide our class on these two qualities, and they are hope and equanimity. So I invite you to start your practice. I have a couple props today, so if you don't have any props, you might gather up some sort of a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you might use two pillows. Two bed pillows usually work really well. I've got this little setup right here, which I'm going to use for the beginning part of the practice. There'll be a combination of finding some stillness and then some gentle movement in our body. So let's begin. If this pose serves you, in a pose I call resting star pose. So depending on your back, if your back is a little tweaky, you don't want to be too close to that bolster, but a fist or two length away from your bolster or your pillow prop. You're going to lie down. Make sure you're situated properly. Very heart opening. And then once you get there, if it serves you, you could straighten out your legs here in this gesture of this resting star. The arms fall in to suit as the rest of your star. This can be a pose we can really open up our breath. So I invite you to do just that. If this position isn't serving you, you could vary it up and just take an alternate rest pose here with the knees drawn in. Still getting that nice heart opening of the prop behind you. Just allowing yourself to sink into stillness, to recognize your body, your mind, your heart, just as it is. This is the base root of equanimity, where we make peace with our current reality, whatever that looks like. So without forcing it, just begin to nudge your breath to become a little bit fuller. Both the inhalation and the exhalation. Particularly in this heart-opening posture, as we start to invite in our breath, we start to bring in that innate quality of hope. Hope, not just in the fluffy, optimistic variation of hope, but hope that is kind of led by our faith in our practice. I remember a movie from the 90s entitled Hope Floats. Movie not all that memorable for me, but the title, Hope Floats. Can you allow your inhalations, that sense of fullness and completeness, to be kind of like that hope floating for you? And as you continue to rest in that shape, I just want to offer you a brief reading, and this is from The Wise Heart by Jack Kornfield, a guide to the universal teachings of Buddhist psychology. True peace is not indifferent or emotional resignation. It is the still point, the living reality of the present, where consciousness becomes a symphony of loving kindness, playing in a silent ocean of equanimity. Each of us will reflect our inner freedom in a unique way, through our temperament, body, and culture. There are those who will express their freedom primarily through silence, others through joy or hope. There are those who express freedom through peacefulness and others through service and love. A free and awakened consciousness is experienced as a many-faceted crystal. One facet is peace, another is love, one is strength, another is clarity, one is gratitude. Others include integrity, passion, courage, creativity, joyfulness, and abundance. Each of these qualities can fill consciousness and shine through our body, heart, and mind. This is not simply a metaphor, it becomes our actual experiences. We are illuminated by these qualities, one or several at a time. This is the culmination of the psychology of the wise heart. We are the beauty we have been seeking all our lives. We are consciousness knowing itself, empty and spacious, compassionate and joyful. Our very peace and equanimity begin to transform the world around us. Buddhist psychology helps us rediscover that freedom and joy are our original nature. O nobly born, do not forget the luminous nature of your own mind. Trust it. It is whole. Let's aim to come home to this felt experience within our bodies and in our breath. So if you're ready to change your shape here with your body, you might come into reclining bound angle, drawing the feet together, knees opening, lengthening the tailbone down. Again, if this position doesn't serve you, you can change it up. Draw the knees in. Any shape that would bring you into this feeling of spaciousness, hopefulness, and equanimity. Take a few more very full breaths here. Relax your face, your jaw. If you're harboring any regrets, stress about this holiday season, could you just let it fall away for this moment? Focus more on that equanimous rising and falling of your breath, that feeling of hope floating around you, within you. Can you just sink into the stillness here? The stillness is the backdrop of our life, not the busyness. Feel free to linger in these shapes as long as you want to, but if you're ready to move on, you might gently draw your knees together. Take a full breath and prepare to transition by simply resting on your side in any way that serves you. Can you just be resting on your side? Maybe you feel the breath awareness move from the front of your body into the back of your body, the back of your lungs. And then whenever you're ready, use your hands to press yourself up. So we're going to find our way into another still place of equanimity, finding our comfortable seat. So propping up in a way that serves you. When we find our comfortable seat, we feel aligned, shoulders over the hips, pelvis nice and neutral. Take a moment to maybe close your eyes. Lift up a little bit more with the crown of the head. Lift up a little bit more with your heart as you root down with your sitting bones. Again, purposely moving into places of stillness, where we can simply abide, witness without judgment. And then, when you're ready, let your fingertips touch your mat, the earth below you. See if that gives you a little bit more buoyancy, a little bit more hope. Allow the corners of your lips to turn up just a little bit. And then we'll begin to move a little bit with our breath. Inhale, reach up, maybe look up. Exhale, touch earth. A few times with your own breath cycle. Finding that balanced nature of your breath. The way that attending to our breath and moving our bodies bring equanimity and a peaceful state to the mind. Help us turn inward. Last time, hold the reach. Take a full breath up. Remember, hope floats. And then take your hands to your thighs. And again, just moving with the breath, move into your seated cat and cow. So as you inhale, belly rocks forward, heart lifts. As you exhale, pelvis tilts back, tuck your chin, firm your belly. Inhale up. Exhale, rock it back. Just a few times. And feeling that tidal rhythm nature of your breath. Just like watching the waves of the ocean rise and fall. You watch the rise and fall of emotions, of thoughts. Just calmly witnessing with a little less reactivity. Come back to neutral, take a full breath. And then take your hands and bring them right into the base of your skull. Maybe massaging a little bit with your thumbs into the base of the skull. This idea that we're kind of lifting up thinking mind. Our minds have been busy. So be it. Take this time to just allow those thoughts to be. Sink into a calmer perspective. So inhale, open those elbows, lift your heart. Exhale, close the elbows, tuck the chin a couple of times. Again, that wave-like movement. Maybe looking up, looking outside of yourself, seeing the broader perspective. And then always remembering the wisdom that can be found within. Now when that feels complete, come back to a neutral place, and we're going to gently guide us into some lateral side bending. So cup your head with your left hand, reach your right hand up. Big stretch down the right side of your body like you're falling into that left hand with your head. And then up and over to the other side. And move with your own breath cycle a few times here. Head falling back into the hand like you're falling back into a practice that you trust, a body and a mind that you trust. And then next time, maybe let the right hand touch the earth, left hand reach to the sky in a little more wave-like motion. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close it down. Your way. Just making a little bit more space around your shoulder, your chest. Kind of the way a flower lifts and opens to sunlight and then turns inward at night. And then hold the pose. Just breathe into the whole left side of your body. Let it go. Take a moment to observe the energy quality in the two sides of your body. And let's even it out. So let's reach to the earth with the left hand, right hand to the sky. And we can come into that gentle movement. Inhale, open elbow to sky. Exhale, draw it down. A couple of times. Remember, our breath leads our practice. Opening up to possibility, maybe wonderment, opening up to the unknown. And then holding for a breath or two, breathing down the whole right line of your body. coming back into stillness. Recognizing the energy level in both sides of your body. Beautiful. So from here, we'll prepare to transition. So we'll be coming onto our hands and our knees. Finding yourself into your tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, knees as wide as the hips. And we'll continue with some of those wave-like movements, combining our movements with breath, moving into your cat and cow. So as you inhale, soften belly, lift that heart, lift that tail. Exhale, arch, draw the belly in. And moving with your breath, like these waves of awareness. Balanced energies. And when that feels complete for you, walk your hands forward a little bit. We're just going to sink down into child's pose for a few breaths. So maybe you touch your toes together, draw those hips back to the heels, and surrender down to the earth in a way that makes sense to you. Again, in our practice, we're consciously moving from movement into this place of stillness where we can simply observe. So observe your breath, your mind. Allow yourself to use your body to do a little prayer and make peace with your current reality. And whenever you're ready, coming up, we're going to make our way into a standing position. So if you're feeling a down dog, you can spread those fingers a little bit. Feel the texture of your mat. Feel underneath your toes. Next exhale, lift hips to sky. Move in any way that serves you here. Can you create a sense of spaciousness underneath your arms and all the way down your spine? Oops. And when you're ready, mindfully walk your feet forward, bend your knees, and slowly bring yourself up into a standing position. I somehow have intuition that I might have cut my head off, so I'm just going to slide my mat back a little bit and see if that works. So find your way into your mountain. Hands wherever they feel guided to be. Close your eyes. If that feels comfortable and natural to you. And just use your own body intelligence and breath to come into this place of equal standing. Use your breath to fill up the edges of your body, to lengthen through your crown. Feel a heaviness in your tailbone, a strength in your core. Relax those arms. So our cleanse today is going to be maybe a little atypical, bringing in maybe some new movements for us, working a bit on balance, because I feel like balance aligns a little bit with equanimity and making peace with whatever expression of our pose is. So let's start by just freeing up a little bit in and around our hip flexors, some of those standing muscles. So I'm going to have you put a little bit more weight into your left foot. If you're a little balance challenged, you could have something to hold on to here. I think I have just enough space. So this is one of my favorite ways to loosen up the hip flexors. So weight into the left foot. We're going to start swinging our right leg. Here's where the balance challenge comes in. So if you need something to hold on to, bring it in. Keep lifting up the crown. Keep breathing. Maybe your arms are just naturally swinging a little bit. See what happens. Remember to breathe. And once that side feels complete, just stand in your mountain and observe. Again, any subtle differences in energy levels, in openness. And then we'll do this on the other side. So root your right foot. Again, you can be holding on to something. We're going to start swinging the left. Remember to stand tall. If you bobble a little bit, if you fall out, don't worry about it. Deep breathing. I had a little hope moment the other day as a mom. My son and I finished a walk and we decided to stretch our hips, and we both did this. Ooh. Okay. If you're a mom, you might get that. I don't know. So stand and observe. And then we'll move right into our dynamic twist. So our feet are as wide as our hips. We'll just twist from side to side. Seeing everything along the way. Part of moving into equanimity is we can see things from a broader perspective and be less reactive. And when that feels complete, slow it down. I'm wishing I would have grabbed my gloves too, but I like the cold. Take a moment to observe, to breathe. So now we're going to continue our dynamic balance, moving kind of in and out of tree pose, and you'll see where we're going. So inhale, reach both arms up. Gesture of hope. Exhale, come into tree pose on either side, it doesn't matter which. And then just keep it flowing. Inhale up. Exhale, come into tree pose. Your foot can stay on the ground the whole time. Again, rather than always following me, follow your breath cycle to take you in and out of these movements. Standing tall, using your core strength here. Can we allow ourselves to get on a little bit of shaky ground and still feel that quality of equanimity? That our mental well-being is tied more to our internal state and the practices that we do to cultivate it, rather than the ever-changing quality of the world around us. So next time you come into tree pose, see if you can have your left leg touching your right leg just for cueing. Just take a moment, maybe reach those arms up, breathe, feel. Take the hands back to the heart. Take your hands to your hips and set your left foot behind your right foot. So the right foot is front, left foot behind. So finding that space of balance. And then we're going to reach both hands up, get some length in our spine, and then take the left hand down like you're pushing it across, pushing your right arm up and over. So this is creating that arc stretch down the whole right side of the body. Maybe we look down, maybe we look up, maybe we do a little bit of both. And then we're going to change it up a little bit. This is a atypical variation of goddess. So change your arms, left arm reaches for the sky, and then draw your right foot in, your right arm in. Core strength. You can circle that top hand. Again, if you're struggling with balance, find equanimity with that. Let go of the judgment. Know that that's your thinking mind, and let that go. Breathe. And let it go. Take a moment to just be before we cultivate that on the other side. And then let's go into it the same way with just a little dynamic movement. So inhale up, exhale tree pose, either side, feel your core. And we're purposely inviting these little balance challenges. And next time, come into tree pose with your right foot to your left leg. Hold there. Find those oppositional forces. Maybe reach your hands to the sky. Maybe turn up the corners of your lips. Remember, hope floats. It doesn't judge. It floats, sustains, and supports. And then let it go. Take your right foot behind your left foot. So now the left foot is in front. And bring in a little softness to the knees. Still grounded in the hips. Reach the arms up to the sky, lengthen, and then we'll take our right hand like we're pushing energy this way. The left hand is pushing energy up and over, creating that arc down the left side of your body. Maybe you change your gaze, looking down, looking up. Another way to kind of train our brain. Vary your gaze. And then change it up. So the right hand reaches for the sky, the left hand comes in, the left foot comes in. This variation of goddess. Maybe you circle that right wrist, draw that belly in. Bringing this quality of hope, equanimity. Even if we feel a little challenge in a new posture, can we just be with it? And let it go. Back to your mountain. Maybe give everything a little shake. Maybe all that balancing, you weren't breathing properly. Let it all go. And then feel. Sometimes after balancing, we bring 2 feet back to the earth and we somehow feel more alive. more grounded. Reminds me of the qualities of being from yoga philosophy, which will align with equanimity. We can have kind of that anxious, racing mind, rajas, or a depressed, heavy mind, tamas. We aim to find a sattvic or peaceful, equanimous presence on our mat and in our lives. Relax those arms. So just a few more standing poses before we slow things down. Another way to bring balance to our bodies and our mind in our practice is to make sure we're moving into all of the planes of the body. So we spend a lot of time moving back and forth. And that's the sagittal plane, I believe. And that's a wonderful way to practice, but it can kind of reinforce some of our beliefs and ways of being. So let's move into the frontal, or the kind of moving into the horizontal plane of our bodies by widening our feet. And come right into your 5-pointed star. Radiate those arms out. Maybe close your eyes. Allow yourself to take a little more space. Rest those arms down. We'll turn the left toe to the top of the mat. Bring that right heel back a little bit. Bend in, so we're kind of guiding into a warrior 2 stance, but let's get a little flowy with it. So left hand touches that front thigh. Inhale, right hand sweeps up over extended side angle, and then flip it into your peaceful warrior. Left hand reaches to the sky, right hand to the thigh. Keep it going. Just waving your body between these 2 poses. And notice your gaze. Change it up a little bit. Allow yourself to really just go with the flow of life, rather than resist it or fight against it. Using our physical practice to help us make peace with our reality. Hold whichever shape is calling to you more for a breath or 2. And when you're ready, come back to center. So turn those toes straight ahead. Radiate those arms out to the sides, your 5-pointed star. Feel your breath, feel your body. And then relax. Turn your right toe to the front of the mat. Wiggle that left heel back a little bit, the base of your warrior 2. And we'll flow just like we did on the other side. Inhale, left hand sweeps to the sky, peaceful warrior. Oh, we changed that. Good to change our patterns. And then come into your extended side angle. Your way, your breath. And remember, look around. And hold the pose. Again, whichever one is calling to you more on this side. Feel the breath in the pose. Come back to center. Turn those toes out. Turn your toes out a little more than the heels. And let's just come into Goddess. We did a variation of Goddess in our balance. So let's bring in this other nice flowy version of Goddess. So as you inhale, reach those arms to the sky. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And if your knees don't like this range of motion, keep it smaller. Feel the innate earthiness of this pose grounding you, as well as the spacious quality as you reach up for sky. And when that feels complete, a couple variations. So if your knees don't love the feel of Malasana or a deeper squat, you can just stay right here in your 5-pointed star, come into mountain pose, pick whatever shape your body is calling you into. But if you know you really do like a squat, it can be a really grounding way to bring us closer to the earth. So coming into Malasana, toes out. We'll just take a nice little squat here. And again, if this isn't serving you, you can come to seated. You can take butterfly pose, whatever serves you. And a nice way to come into a little bit of stillness in this pose is to support yourself with a block underneath the sitting bones. You need to kind of get it in just the right spot. But if you do, it can be a good way to just settle into stillness in this shape. Whatever shape you found yourself in, take a few deep breaths. And then when you're ready, whatever shape you were in, we're gonna transition down into that bound angle shape. And if you need a little support in that shape, you can bring in your blanket. Gonna bring in just a little support. So we'll start with our feet as close to the body as they feel comfortable with. Holding our ankles, maybe giving your toes a little massage. But try to find some length in your spine. Maybe it feels good to literally flap those knees like the butterfly, bringing in that quality of hope, floating. We are moving into a darker time of year. But can we keep that quality of hope with us? When that feels complete, either stay right there or walk your feet out a little further, more like our star shape that we did in the beginning. So a nice, well, different variation of star. And in this one, you can fold forward if you're feeling it. A nice time for a little foot massage, nurturing. Just allow yourself to turn inward. Maybe allow your body to reflect the quality of your mind as you move closer into stillness. And when you're ready, mindfully come up, draw the knees together. And we're just going to windshield wiper our legs. So bring the feet a little wider, drop them from side to side. Maybe you kind of wiggle off of your prop if you're using a prop. And then bring the feet a little closer together. We're going to guide into a twist. So the knees drop to the left, right hand on the hip, left hand to the back of your mat. So take that full gaze all the way back behind you and breathe. And when you're ready, come back to center, drop the knees to the right, left hand on the hip, right hand facing the back of your mat, and take that gaze back behind you. Looking behind us, symbolically, in our practice or moving to the back end of our mat can be symbolic of revisiting our past. But let's revisit the past with a little bit of reverence, maybe a tiny bit of nostalgia, but know that it is your past. And as you face forward, you consciously choose to live in this moment. So let's just take a few more closing poses. This is one of my favorite restorative poses. We're going to take deer pose. Those poses that we just did were a little prep for that. So this is where your pillows will come in handy again, or your bolster. I'm going to set my blanket up at the top. Another way is, even if you're using pillows and you feel like you need a little bit more height here, you can take a block and put it underneath. I'm going to try that for today. So I'm going to take the left hip close to the bolster, cross that leg in front, cross the other leg in back. So this is our deer legs. And if this situation doesn't serve you, you can always come into this pose with your legs a little closer together. Sometimes it's nice to put a blanket between your legs if you do that. So we're just going to turn towards our bolster and prepare to get really comfortable. The head is either going to turn to the right or the left. The arms are going to drape down. And once again, we bring attention a little bit more into breathing into the back part of the body now. Notice if you're holding tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your neck. Just allow your upper body to just totally melt down and get intimate with the breath moving into your back body. And finding equanimity in the silence can sometimes be challenging. So just know if thoughts arise, if emotions arise, we meet them, we welcome them, and then we let them pass. And whenever you're ready, use your hands to slowly press you up. If you're really loving that pose and you have time to just hit the pause button and really linger there for a good 5-8 minutes, feel free. Let's see. The best way to come to the other side is to just turn yourself around. So right hip up against that bolster. You can make your deer legs, or you can just have this leg stacked together. And just lie yourself down onto the bolster. Remember, we're focusing on our breath, sensations, and the still point in our bodies and minds. The peaceful still point where all thoughts and emotions arise from. And whenever you're ready, on this side, slowly press up. Back to neutral. And allowing a little free expression for yourself as we start to close the practice. I'll give you a couple options. You've got this little bolster set here. You could end your class the way we began, in your star pose or your bound angle. You might be feeling like you'd like a little inversion. Could also use this to come into an inversion, coming into supported bridge, legs up the wall, or legs up to the sky. So think about which of those choices would be just right for you here. Make your way into the pose of your choice. This idea of free will in our yoga practice is very sustaining. Knowing we can choose what's just right for our body, what's just right for us in this holiday season. Allow yourself to just fall back into that equanimous place where your breath arises and falls back into, where your thoughts and emotions arise and fall back into. Where you make peace with this moment. And as we close our time together, staying in your restorative position or shavasana, I'd like to offer you this prayer or poem from Prayers to the Infinite by Donna Fowles. And it's entitled Inner Light. The inner light is always with me. When I slip beneath the agitated surface of the mind, I find it. Like a fragment of the Big Bang, still glowing. This energy doesn't depend on health or strength or even mental peace. It isn't a product of belief, nor is it me in any egocentric way of speaking. The inner light is always there, waiting to be felt and seen, waiting for me to release it through my choice to be still and recognize its presence. The illumination grows the more I let it go. Like radiant heat, it flows out of me, flows from my whole being without leaving me depleted. We are all like this, whether we yet know it or not. Tiny stars glowing in the dark. We are all like this, whether we know it yet or not. Tiny stars glowing in the dark. Please linger here in your resting pose as long as you'd like to. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, peace,